Hey Pookies, we're back for another video, and we're back in Minecraft. Um, First and foremost, yes, I do sound a little bit different. That is because I am still, oh my god, it's lagging like crazy. I am still recovering. I I think I had the flu, I think. I'm not too sure, but I've been sick for the last couple of days though. That's all you really need to know. But that's not gonna stop me though. I'm still gonna try to get these videos out for you guys. And today is kind of a special occasion because at the time of recording, one day ago or a year ago, it was definitely a year ago today, but yesterday. You know what I mean? So a year ago and a day, a year and a day ago is when I became unemployed. Now, that's not something to celebrate necessarily, and that's not the point. My point is that it's been a year now since yesterday. It has been a year since I left my job, which was at a fast food place. I was a cashier at a fast food place. Now, I'm not going to say the name of the place just in case, you know, they send their assassins after me. Also, I don't know why it says a death over there if this is a new world. Yeah, it's been a year since then. I've been trying to find a job literally ever since then. As I'm sure you guys have noticed, I've mentioned that in some of the past videos already that I was looking for a job, which thank you for watching, by the way. Like, you guys' support means a lot to me, and I hope you guys continue to watch. So thank you for that. Yeah, but that's what today's video is going to focus on, because I'm finally going to basically tell, because like I saw a lot of stuff working there. I worked there for 3 years. I worked at a restaurant, a fast food place for 3 years, and you don't work at a fast food place for a couple years without seeing some shit. I don't even know where to begin, but let's just start at the beginning. So I can have a feeling this video is gonna be a longer one. So get comfortable, do what you gotta do. How does the saying go? Let's strap on, strap in, right? Strap in. That's what they say. Not strap on. That's something else. So strap in, because I don't know. It's a little crazy. Yeah. So I was a cashier for 3 years, and I dealt with all sorts of people, all walks of life, literally everything under the sun. I'm talking Karens, I'm talking children, I'm talking like crackheads, homeless people, Mormons. To be fair to the Mormons though, it was a lot of religious people. I've even talked about some in the Mormon video, so it, you know, ties back in. But yeah, like I dealt with so many walks of life, and I think we should talk about them today. I guess for some clarification, this fast food place was in a plaza surrounded by a bunch of other different stores, as I mentioned before. It's not necessarily like a poor area. And I feel like I should preface that. It's not a rich person area either. You were gonna come across homeless people, to give you an idea. Like, that was just gonna happen. You were bound to come across someone tweaking, and you know, you just kind of ignore them. That's just kind of what it is around here where I live. I'm gonna focus in on two individuals in particular. This plaza, I guess, had two known like tweakers. These guys were always there, and they would walk together just around the place. I mean, literally, quite literally doing nothing, but they were always there. I always saw them. It was these two Hispanic guys, and I didn't know this until way later, but they were actually brothers. So we got the We got the crackhead bros, or at least we did have them out there, and you're gonna see what I mean in a second. So these guys were nothing but nuisances. The only reason I knew they existed was because anytime I would see them, it's because they were coming into my store to use the bathroom, and they never bought anything, as you could imagine. Now, I don't know what their deal is or what their situation was to get them in that position. And, you know, if anything, it's quite unfortunate that they basically had to be out on the street. I only found out that they were brothers because one of my coworkers had told me that they live with their mom, but I guess some mental issues, they just chose to be out there on the street for some reason. I never learned any of their names, but the younger brother is the one that I have interacted with the most. And I remember, to give you an idea, the first time I ever ran into this guy, his eyes were like wide open. Bro was tweaking. He was off one. And he was holding a pack, just like a sealed like little pack. Clearly it was like there was probably like joints in there. It was like one of the like definitely like marijuana packs. Like it didn't have any labels on it, and it was just all black. And the reason our conversation even initiates is because we just happened to cross paths. I was literally walking to work when this happened, and he just sees me, and then he just starts talking to me, and he starts saying, it's like, oh bro, like check it out, man. And he shows me like the pack or whatever, and you know, I'm trying to get to work, so I'm like, he like shoves the pack in my face, and I'm like, oh, what's that? Like, we're gonna go smoke or whatever, you know, like that's cool. And then he's like, yeah, fool, like I just got this like from some like one of the homies right now, and fool, like dog, I don't even know what's in this, but I'm gonna go home right now and I'm gonna go smoke it, dog. Like you best believe. And I was like, okay, sure, you can go ahead and you can do that. I didn't need to know. But you know, I'm trying to be nice, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. You know, I'm just like kind of nodding along, like, oh, that's, yeah, all right. I'm gonna leave you to that, bro. You go do that. But then he starts going off on this like a whole like speech about how he would lay down his life for his hood. I don't know why. And it was like a speech of like how like he was being targeted, or like there was people after him or something, but he wasn't gonna stop, and he was gonna protect his hood or whatever. And that this hood shit is like serious because he said he would lay down his life for it. I'm just like, what are you talking about? You know, in my head, I'm like, what are you saying? Like, what is this? He, as he's giving this like victory speech or whatever, he's walking away. So he's still talking to me, but he's walking away. And I just left it at that. I was like, okay, sure, bro. See ya never, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. He definitely went to go smoke whatever that was. I don't know what that was. That was my only big interaction with this dude, and I would see him hanging out outside a 7-Eleven that was around there, and he would like fight other people to get it's so sad. He would fight other homeless guys just to be able to sleep outside the 7-Eleven. Like what are we doing, bro? Imagine like fighting someone just so you could sleep outside a 7-Eleven. Like, I don't know. These people have issues. Again, I don't know his situation, so I don't know what got him to this. It's definitely drugs, but like my sympathy, you know, can only go so far if all of this is like addiction and stuff, and they make no effort to get help. But yeah. This guy's brother, on the other hand, he was a much bigger guy. And the thing is, I don't recall this guy ever like speaking like words. I do recall him making like grunting noises and like just and screaming. He would often hang out kind of like at the front of the store, I guess across the parking lot from the store, because there was like this grass area, and he would just kind of just stand there, kind of like sway back and forth. Again, not really doing anything, but he'd just be out there all day. And then he'd come into the store just to use the bathroom. The last time I saw him, he was out there, comes inside to use the bathroom like normal, but I don't know what happened this time. He, and if you're eating, I apologize for this. You may want to, I don't know, skip this part, but when he goes to the bathroom, for one reason or another, he doesn't make it. And so he leaves, he comes out of the bathroom with shit just leaking all over his leg. It was the most disgusting visual I had. Like, it was so gross. And he was just walking away like nothing happened. Like, I don't know what to, even to this day, I don't know what to make of that. He, same day, he ended up getting arrested because the manager at the time called the cops on this guy. The manager was not having it. And they, the cops did take him away. Like shit coming off his leg and all. They took him away. And that guy's brother, the you know, the first tweaker we talked about, I don't think he wasn't there for that. So he is completely unaware that his bro got arrested. He doesn't even know. And like, I'm just now having that realization as I'm recalling this, which is sad. That's so sad. Just to give you an idea of the types of people that there was. Those were some of the tweakers. I don't remember if I told this in a previous video, but because I would work at the drive-thru, which was timed, by the way, they wanted us to dedicate the minimum of have orders out within a minute and 30 seconds. That was a big thing, which I was always on top of. I always made sure we met that deadline. But I remember I was closing this one time, and I'm working the drive-thru. We're getting pretty close to like closing. And so we're kind of cleaning up. Everyone's kind of like, you know, kind of winding down, cleaning up their areas, getting stuff ready for the next day for the people that open. And a car pulls up. You know, I did the thing to the speaker. I'm like, you know, I follow the script, and their orders is fairly simple. We get it out within the time limit. They're at the window. I give the order to the guy, and it's two of them. It's just two dudes like my age. And the guy driving, after I give him his food, you know, he looks at me and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing tomorrow?" And that caught me off guard because I was like, I don't know him. At least I don't think I know him. And I was like, I'm gonna be working. And the next day was Sunday. And then this guy's like, he gives me his card for his church. And he's like, well, like, you should come to our church tomorrow. Like, you know, we're doing this whole event, and we're inviting people, you know, from outside the church, and we'd love to see you there, you know, blah, blah, blah. And it was, you know, we were about to close, and I was like tired, and the last thing I wanted to deal with was Mormons. So I don't know. I decided to like tell the guy, like, yeah, like, I don't believe in anything, so I'm most likely not gonna go. You know, like, I wanted to say that, but I tried to be nice, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be working anyway. Also, I'm not religious, so I don't really see myself going to this. And bro wanted to have a whole discussion about it. And my coworkers, you know, my team, they were yelling at me because now the car has been there for like 2 minutes, and the time's gonna go up, and it's gonna stain our record. But I ignored them, and I kept talking to this guy because I wanted to make it clear that I wasn't religious and I had my reasons. And ultimately, you know, it's like it ended with this guy saying I'm going to be in his prayers because that's going to help. And I told him, honestly, like, if you really want to help me, like, don't pray for me, like, just give me money. You know, as mean as that sounds, but I'm just being honest. And also, it wasn't the first time that I ran into Mormons at that job, because they would wander the plaza pretty frequently for a time. And I remember they were camping out at the speaker, so when a car would pull in, I could hear them through the headset trying to get people, and I had to like shout at them from the window to just get out. It was annoying. It was so annoying, dude. One time there was these two older ladies who came in to eat. I'm pretty sure they were Catholic, and I know this because they gave out pamphlets for like their church and stuff. And the reason I bring this up is because I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. The pamphlet design kind of went hard. Picture this, okay? It's a it's like a skyscraper, but the it's kind of like at a slant. Like the whole picture is kind of tilted, and the skyscraper has some like white detail on the windows. And as the building, you look up at the building, and as the building is like, you know, as it's building up, the little white aspects of the window morph into like Jesus's robe, and he's like kind of holding the skyscraper. I don't know how to explain it, but it looked pretty cool. Yeah, I remember that design for it, and I was like, well, I was like, damn, why are they going so hard for the designs now? That's crazy. I mean, I'm still not going to your church, but like the design's pretty cool, at least. The only thing really notable from them was that one of them couldn't eat flour tortillas, and they ordered tacos that had flour tortilla, that were made from flour tortillas. And then we had to remake them with corn. And I remember thinking to myself, I was like, you have your all-powerful God guy, but he can't make it, so you could eat flour. Why worship him at all? I know it's kind of mean, but that's how I think. That's my thought process. Why worship a God if he can't even help you? I haven't mentioned it yet, but the coworkers ain't off the hook either, because I had some coworkers who, it's like, why am I even like, how are we on the same team here? I remember when I first started there was this one guy who just always like hit his vape. He just always had this vape on him, and because he thought it was like the coolest thing ever to vape, which I'd have to disagree with him on that one. And he would like go to the back where the cameras wouldn't show, just to hit his vape. He'd be in the freezer, the walk-in freezer that we had. He'd go in there to hit his vape. And he was our cook, mind you. And he was just always hitting the vape. He just always had vape. And I remember one time he stops me as we're working, and then he's like, bro, like, you and me, like, we gotta go, like, you gotta join me, like, in the bathroom, like, right now. Which, if someone tells you that, you're obviously, you're gonna be like, why? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And then he's like, dude, I got some Coke, like we gotta go do some lines in the bathroom right now. And then I'd be like, no, I'm not doing coke with you. Obviously, he was joking, but he was definitely one of those guys that, like, when he makes a joke, it's kind of like at your expense almost, if that makes sense. Like, I knew that he was joking, and so I wasn't playing along with it. So in his mind, to get to end up winning the interaction, he would take my reaction as legitimate and then use that as like, oh, you actually believed I had coke, like, like that type of thing. Which is why I didn't really like ever talk to this guy. I didn't really like him. He also drove a white Mustang, funny enough. And no, he's not our neighbor that had the white Mustang that no longer has it. It was just a coincidence. But also, he didn't have his license, so I don't know how the hell he was driving that. He drove it really, really recklessly too, because he gave me a ride home once. He would speed up every time. He would go crazy on the turns. Bro's a psychopath. Last I heard, he was working at a California pizza kitchen, and I have no desire to catch up with him. I also had this one coworker who actually, he knows this channel exists, so maybe he's watching this. And if you are watching, unnamed coworker, fuck you. But I had this one coworker who, okay, you gotta come closer. Okay, this is where the tea gets spilled, if you wanna say it that way. I had this one coworker. Oh my god, I'm gonna need a alias for this. Let's call this coworker. Let's call him. Oh my god, I need a name. Quick. Looking around the room. Okay. Let's call him Wade, right? So Wade had the reason why they're important is because they had a massive crush on me. And I don't say that to stroke my ego. I bring it up because this was a problem. So Wade is he's very openly zesty, and he's not shy about it. So good for him. The problem arises is when that starts he starts crossing some boundaries. Right off the bat, I was never interested, and I told him I was never interested. Also, he was 18. Legally, you're an adult, yes, but mentally, you're still that's still a child. Okay, and I'm in my mid-20s, bro. I got no business being with an 18-year-old. Like, that just doesn't interest me. And also, you don't date your coworkers on top of all of that. So right off the bat, I let this guy know, hey, I'm not interested in this or anything. Like, there's nothing here. Stop pursuing, please. But the thing about Wade is that he understood that, but also at the same time, still was very, like, protective of me for some reason, as if we were, like, dating, which we weren't. And because Wade was always with me, always, like, by my side, he literally would not leave me alone. And because of that, everyone thought that I was gay too. Our whole team, like, because in this place, in this restaurant, it's mainly Hispanic people working. I don't know if you guys know, but I am Hispanic myself. But Hispanic people, like, traditionally Hispanic people, are some of the biggest, like, homophobes ever. So because Wade was always following me, and he would always, like, caress my arm too. It was so weird. Everyone thought, because Wade was gay and he was coming on to me, everyone thought that I was gay too. And I have no problem with being perceived as gay. Being gay is not an issue. That doesn't bother me. What bothers me is that it was getting in the way of my work, of my job. Because oftentimes I would try to work and he's over here trying to make conversation. And it was getting in the way of our performance. And it was just like, It's like, bro, like what, like what, like stop, like leave me alone. And he would always like try to butter me up and talk about how like, oh, like that I was gonna be the future manager, and so he was trying to like get in good with me, so when I become manager, you know, I'm gonna let him do whatever he wants, and just like all this like stuff. And I'm like, bro, like stop. No, that's not, we're not doing this. He, I guess all of that in his mind was him like flirting, but I just wasn't having any of it. And I would tell him, I'm like, please, like stop doing this. And anytime I would work with a with a, you know, if literally any interaction with a woman, whether they were a coworker, a customer, he would get up in my face and be like, oh, what were you guys talking about? Like, what was that? And I'm like, I took their order. Like, what? Like, I don't know what you were expecting, but also I don't like answer to you like that. So, like, what the hell? You know? And this went on for years, bro. This was such like a routine thing. It was so awful. The reason I bring all of this up is because we eventually get a manager, you know, who's also fruity. And you think these guys, I mean, this new manager was pushing 40, by the way. And, you know, you'd think that these gay guys would get along, but no, they hated each other. And the reason why they hated each other was because they both of them had eyes for me. Imagine that situation. Imagine me working, trying to work, and one of my coworkers, this 18-year-old kid, he's got the hots for me. He's always making comments and stuff. And then here comes this new manager pushing 40, who also is now taking an interest in me. And I have to deal with that with both of these guys, which like I'm not interested in either one of them. I'm just there to work. And then they don't get along because I guess they feel the need. They see each other as competition, even though I made it clear that I wasn't interested in anything. It's just so bad, bro. Like I look back on it like, what was that? What is this? But yeah, they did not like each other, and it was pretty obvious. You know, Wade was still trying to talk to me, but then this new manager, he would send him to go like clean tables or like do anything else to get him out of the kitchen, so that way he could talk to me, and Wade would be doing God knows what. Like, it's so crazy looking back. Imagine being 40 and beefing with an 18-year-old, fighting over a guy in his mid-20s who's not interested in either. How I get myself into these situations, I don't know. Yeah, it's Wade is kind of a psycho on top of all that, because he was very close friends with one of the shift leaders who made the schedule. And I shit you not, the only reason I know this is because Wade told me himself. He told the person who made the schedule to literally have our hours lined up, because he wanted our schedules to line up so that we would have to work together. That's like, is that not some psycho shit? Like, what the hell? Like, what? Like, why would you do this? Why would you do this after I've told him countless times that I was not interested? There was nothing there. There was nothing to pursue. And then look what he confesses. But ultimately, though, I ended up leaving this job. I did not put in a 2 weeks notice. I literally walked out on him, and I didn't tell anybody about it. So the manager mentioned in the story, at that point he wasn't there anymore. Literally nobody knows what happened to him. So I mean, That sounds crazy, but like, I'm not saying he like got murdered or anything. I'm just saying nobody knows what happened to him. Yeah, I'm gonna assume Wade still works there. I don't really know, and also I don't really care. I'm sure he's probably still wondering to this day what happened to me, because again, I didn't. I when I dipped, I dipped. Oh yeah. Before I left though, we got this. We did get this other guy. I'm trying to think of a name. Let's call him Logan, right? So the last couple of weeks that I worked there, we got this new hire named Logan. This is alleged, but myself and a lot of other coworkers thought that he was definitely abusing some kind of substance. Logan was around my age, so like early 20s, but he was like really desperate for money, as he would say. So it was speculated that he may have like had like a coke addiction or something, because he was showing like signs of that. He would be like scratching himself, his that typical like cokehead, like fiending kind of attitude. That's what this guy was on while being fairly young, being a young adult. It's pretty sad, actually. Funny enough, he was also like a cook. So I don't know what it is with line cooks and like drugs, but it happens a lot more than you think. At least from what I saw. And here's the thing about Logan though. He, like I mentioned earlier, he was desperate for like money, and he would always ask like, oh, when do the checks come in? When are the checks coming in? And whoever was, in charge of that would tell him, hey, like chill, like the checks aren't coming in till like next week. And this guy went as far as to be like, oh, well, can't you get some money from the, from the safe, and then just take that off my paycheck so I could just get the money now? It was really weird. Managers are often telling him like, no, like we can't do that. Like, wait for the checks to come in like everyone else, because they would come in by mail, the paper ones. I never had to wait though, because I had direct deposit. So, I'm not like the other girls. Down on his luck, down on money. Again, I don't know what his situation was. All we could do was speculate. And yeah, it's probably some kind of drug addiction, if I had to narrow it down to something. And I remember one time he wasn't working, but he still ordered like online, and we see his order pop up and we see the name and everything. And so we prep his order, we make it, we expect him to come pick it up. He doesn't show up for it. And instead, this other like chick comes in, who was just gorgeous, by the way. Like brown hair, freckles, like all that. Obviously, I think I'm gonna be a little biased because, I like white girls, but she was pretty. She was really pretty. And she comes in, and I hit the register. Everyone kind of makes fun of me because they also know I like white girls. And I'm there at the register, and then I'm like, oh, like yeah, this register's open, if you need help, like. And then she's like, oh, I'm actually here to pick up. And then I look at the orders for pickup. We only have Logan's order. And so I'm starting to think, oh, maybe we missed one. Maybe I should go check. But I ask, I'm like, oh, what's the name on the order? And then she says, yeah, I'm here to pick up for Logan. And so I'm thinking, oh, okay, it's probably DoorDash, right? But I remember he ordered through like the actual company like app, and not through DoorDash or anything like that. And so I'm like doing the final touches on the order. I get the bag and stuff, and I'm like, tying it all together. And I do stall a little bit because I wanted to know, I break into a little bit of small talk, and I'm like, oh, Logan actually like works here. He's one of my coworkers. Just small conversation, something, because I want to know who this person is. And then I just ask, and I'm like, oh, like, so like is Logan like a friend of yours? Like, how do you know him? She responds by saying she is Logan's girlfriend. And I guess I should have mentioned this earlier, but Logan's a very like scuffed up looking individual. I'm not saying he's like ugly, but he's definitely like he could use some work, I guess, is to put it nicely. And here this chick comes in. She was gorgeous. Like, I'm sorry, like I have to preface, she was beautiful. And then I'm just like, as I hear that she is Logan's girlfriend, I'm like, I immediately started thinking, I'm like, who asked who out in the situation? I'm like actually like thinking, I'm like, this is definitely a couple of all time. And I legitimately start thinking about it. I'm like, who could have asked who here? But then after that, I gave her the order, and then she took it, and I never saw her again. But I'm like, dude, Logan got some different type of riz. If he's able to be pulling someone like that, like, wow, what the hell? But yeah, ultimately though, the only reason I bring that up is because they decided to keep Logan and not me, which is crazy when you think about it. I had more experience there. I had more time there, like, and they chose him over me. And you're gonna see what I mean in a second. I'm gonna just block this off so I don't die. Because my time there was cut short because I had the unfortunate circumstance of having the head of HR come to do an inspection specifically on me for some reason through the drive-through. And I didn't even know that was going to happen because nobody tells me anything. So I didn't know that was going to happen. I followed the script perfectly. I did everything right. You know, they still indicted me. Once that happened, the review came in like a day later. For whatever reason, according to the HR lady, my performance was inadequate and I wasn't living up to the standard that was expected, which I didn't even know there was a standard. I'm like, bro, this fast food, like, shit shouldn't, it's like not that serious. And because the HR lady said that I'm not up to code or whatever, I guess that was code for cut this guy's hours drastically, because that's what ended up happening. It got so bad that I literally was only working 1 day a week for 4 hours, as opposed to like the 60 plus hours I was putting in, because I put in a bunch of overtime too. Like when I tell you I was there, I was there. I was always there. I was always working. It's one of the reasons why I didn't really upload videos during that time. And also kind of why I didn't have a life, because I was just always working. Everything was just work. Work, save money, continue to work, keep working. Work was all that I ever did. I mean, sure, I hung out with some friends like every now and then. But other than that, it was run errands, try to relax at home unless they called me in, and then I would go and I'd just be working again. I don't know. It's just after all that, and then having all my hours cut drastically like that, and management changing up again, and because I was only working 4 hours, I never even met the new manager that they put in, so I never even was able to like talk to anyone about whether or not I was even gonna get my hours back at all, or like I wasn't in the loop for like anything. I didn't know what was happening. I was promised the shift leader position, but ultimately, because of that one failed test or whatever, they gave it to someone else who clearly wasn't prepared for it. And it was just so, I don't know, it's just so disrespectful. Like, what do they take me for? I just stopped going. I had enough. I was just so, like, I felt so robbed. Never in my life had I felt so worthless. You know what I mean? And like, and that does something to you. That sticks with you. Like, I don't even, to this day, like, I still don't even know what I did wrong. Being completely honest with you. But yeah, that's what happened, and ultimately that's what led me to be unemployed. And it's been a year now since that. It's been a full year and a day since that very day. And I don't want this to be like a sad video or like a sad ending or whatever, but trying to look at the bright side at least. If that never happened, then I would have never had time to become a VTuber and make videos for you guys and start a little community that we have here, which I'll always be grateful for you guys that watch. I know I say that like every time, but it's just because I don't know. This is how I feel. I'm grateful for every single one of you that watches, continues to watch, to support me. You know, that's why I call you guys my Pookies, because Pookie is the highest honor that I could give a person. And I give that honor to you guys. So I hope you'll continue to support me as I continue making videos, because I'm having fun. I really do like booting up a game and being able to talk and knowing that you guys are going to be there listening. So I'm not just talking to the empty void that is YouTube. You know, my voice will be heard, which feels good. I don't know, that feels nice to know. So let it be known, I never take your guys' support for granted. Like even now, like as I'm sick, I still get up and I still make it work. Get these videos out. But on the topic of jobs though, as I mentioned in a couple of previous videos, it finally paid off because I landed a job. I'm not gonna say where, but it is in the hotel industry, which I do have experience in. So I more or less know what I'm getting myself into. Only difference is now, I've been to the place a few times, and it's in like some rich people area. So you know, I'm trying to stay. I'm trying to make it work. I'm trying to stay in this job, keep it for as long as I can, because the pay's really good too. I can't wait. I'm excited for that. And of course, anything that happens there, I'm gonna keep you guys updated. You already know. So yeah, I mean, things are looking up. Now, as what that means for the channel, I mean, ultimately, it just depends on how busy I'm gonna be and how I go about managing my time for this, because this is a hobby, as you could tell. But yeah, I don't want to stop making videos though. So again, it just depends on how busy I would be, but I'm gonna try, like I always say, I'm gonna try to keep a consistent schedule or routine, whatever you call it. You know, you guys are here with me for this journey, and I don't want to let you guys down. So there's all that. But yeah, things are looking up. I'm grateful for it all. Looking back on it, it wasn't the worst thing that ever happened. It's just unfortunate, but you know, when one door closes, another one opens, and that's what it feels like. So I don't know how long this video is, but I'm gonna assume it was definitely a longer one. So definitely, if you made it to the end, literally, thank you so much. Like, I really do appreciate that. I sound like a broken record at this point, but even if you put me on as like background noise, or it took you a while, a couple watches, you know, like you watch some of the video and then you come back to it later, like that's totally fine. Like I don't mind that at all. I don't mind being background noise. I don't mind, even to the ones that don't make it this far. It's like, even if you watch for like 30 seconds, you know, it I appreciate every view, every interaction. Is, I don't know, it just feels good when people watch the stuff that I put out, because I've been doing YouTube for a while. It may not look like it, but the JZX Plays brand has definitely been around for a couple years. Okay. Oh, and that reminds me. Really quick before we go, I was looking myself up, my username up on YouTube, and to my surprise, I have some like there's these other channels who just also have JZX Plays in their name. Now, I'm not saying they're like trying to steal my identity or they're pretending to be me, because that's not the case. They just happen to have the username of JZX Plays, which is so funny to me because it's like I came up with this name when I was like 12. What are the chances that somebody else in the world would even think to make a name like that? You know, so maybe they saw my name somewhere and got like inspired and then just kind of took it. Most of the channels, if you look up J6 Plays on YouTube, you will see there are like other, primarily like I think gaming channels. There's this one based in India that like plays this like mobile game, or they did at least. I think the last video they posted was like 8 months ago with like 19K subs or something like that. I'll put a picture on the screen so you know what I'm talking about. But it's just so crazy to me that like this variant is just out there. Because I can assure you that channel is not run by me, and they have like AI generated like thumbnails too. Like I don't know, it's just funny to me. But yeah, that's I guess that's the last thing I want to talk about. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you made it to the very end, even to this part of the video, I love you and I appreciate you very much. Thank you so much for being here. And also, I'm always open to feedback. So if there's anything you recommend that I change, or like that you want to see gameplay wise, whatever it may be, definitely leave a comment, because I will definitely see it. Because your guys' support means a lot. So anything to get, I take any and all feedback, and yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about today. I will keep you guys updated on what happens next, on what the future holds. I don't know what the future has, but I can't wait to see. And if you guys are, going to be joining me for that, then all the more better. We could tackle the future together. But yeah, I have been your host, JZX Plays, still recovering from the flu. But I'm getting better. I promise. Next video, I probably won't be sick. Probably. I don't know. Don't hold me to that. But yeah. Again, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. I'm gonna go get some Taco Bell because I'm hungry. So yeah, peace. I still don't have an outro, so but the editor put something in like right here.